What's up? What's up, everyone? This is Harold Sullivan. Welcome to the Sullivan Project podcast. We're gonna go a little old school. Sorry, I got my eyes closed again there. Uh, we'll lead to that in a moment. We're going a little old school here in this episode. No fancy opening, with Scooby Doo and all that. I'm gonna do more of a unscripted, kind of like a diary. Just what I've been going through over the last 2 years. Well, not really what I'm going through. God don't do nothing to you. He does it for you. So, just been being blind the last 2 years. And, I close my eyes a lot because it's easier for me. And I don't remember. I don't even know they're closed. I'm closing them. I just close them. And then I just use other senses. I just got done vaping a minute ago. And trying to stay awake kind of was dozing out. I do that because I don't have any concept of time anymore, first of all. I never did before, but it's weird how things like that are made up like that can kind of become almost real. If you get a clock and you get a set on a schedule thing and daylight, nighttime, when all that's taken away, no clock except for asking Google, and I'm glad, grateful to God for Google and Alexas and all that stuff, the talking stuff. I don't want to say it too loud because they'll talk, because I have quite a few of them, and a talking computer, but I was already unable to use my hands due to autoimmune disease I was born with. So I'm 45, almost 45 in December. Glory to God, I'll make it that far. Hey Google, what time is it? Something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds. Okay. Hey Google, what time is it? It's 7:19 p.m. Okay, 7:19. So we'll do 7:49. Okay. So yeah, I got that Google a couple months after I lost my sight. God was already working in spirit, setting these little things up in motion. I had no idea what any of this stuff was really before that. And then start getting these things, and I'm 2 years later, been doing this podcast a little over a year. We're into a little over 50 episodes. Check out the stuff. Harold Sullivan 78 on YouTube, Harold Sullivan 78 on TikTok, Harold Sullivan period 35 on Facebook. And you can call me now, or you can leave messages if you want. If you just want to comment or you want to be on the podcast, there's guests on here. I've had several, and had some celebrities do cameos, so go check out that stuff. But the number here is 724-513-1472. And one more thing before I get into Danny, update on Danny. Thank God he's having another baby. So Briella was born. She's 9 months, almost a year here, and he's gonna have another baby. So I'm the godfather. He asked me to do that. Asked me to be her godfather. I teared up, almost cried. Uh, he lives in Detroit. If you want to hear his story, go check out the other podcast episodes. Uh, and so yeah, does that mean I'm her? He's having a baby, another girl. So am I her? Like how's that work? Or do you have to be asked again, or do you automatically become the siblings godparent as well? I don't know, but I'm honored. He got me a T-shirt, and I had already got one. I was getting made. It was a synchronicity with a shirt that he had sent me of Abriella. So we got that. Oh, excuse me. I know it's probably annoying because I get annoyed when people clear their throat. But so yeah, so we got that. But yeah, let me back to when I was young, uh, and then we'll skip up to me losing my. Uh, I don't know. Anyway, I was born in '78. My dad was alcoholic. He was actually in prison most of the time. I don't know, in jail. He did some things. I'm not sure the stories of that. He was abusive to my mother. My mother was had mental problems, was on medications, and lots of addictions, gambling, eating. Was very overweight. Was physically and verbally abusive. Uh, so I dealt with that as a child. I had many surgeries though. My mom and dad got divorced when I was like 5 or so. I was very young, and he moved out, but he used to come and get me all the time and take me out shopping and bring me toys all the time. I had a $10 a week allowance, and I could get a couple things, you know. And speaking of that, yeah, back then in the '80s, action figures you could get one for $2.99, $3.99. And I was talking to my sister, you know, my nephews are great nephews. They're very young. They can't afford toys because these action figures are $20 a piece now. This is ridiculous. I got a couple wrestling ones that I had. I'm gonna give to one of the kids for birthdays coming up, and that's what brought up the whole thing. I was like, what? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess I can't afford for $40 for a 2 pack of action figures, you know. But I had a nice little collection as a kid, and every time I had surgeries, which I had probably 20 or 30, or I mean, I had a good bit when I was young. And I haven't been able to walk since I was 8 or 9. I had neck surgery. I was in a body cast. Just so many things before I was 10 or 11 years old. But my dad used to bring me toys and take me to get Legos, and just every time I had a surgery, I'd get a new Lego set or a new action figure. It meant a lot, you know. But around 2 years old, way before that, I could say 88 words. A lot of them were swearing words. And then I threw away my baby bottle when I was 2 years old. I was done with it. I was done. And actually, my sister had said that my mom used to pour pop soda in there. Like, yeah, that wasn't good. And that's one of the things now I still drink is soda, but I'm cutting back a lot because it's just the older I get, I'm in my mid 40s now, I just can't do it anymore. Makes me have to go pee too much, makes me upset my stomach. I get headaches, but I want it. It's something. It's just a taste. It's the caffeine. Don't get that to your babies, you know. But yeah, I found a tape when I was a teenager, an old Kmart cassette, audio cassette, with me talking from when I was around that age, and it was so cute, and I was cussing, and so that was back in. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 7:24 p.m.
24. Okay, we're gonna do about 13 more minutes here. Or no, Jesus, I can't even. My mind has so much. It's being rewired last 2 years. I thought 40. Yeah, right. It says 24, 34. Yeah, literally. I'm just gonna go till 40 after. But yeah, my brain has just been rewired the last 2 years since I lost the sight. So because you don't see anymore, you have to figure out how to do everything else, or how to do everything all over again without sight. And I was limited before. I haven't been able to bend my arms and move my elbows and legs and stuff. All the cartilage dried up when I was around 10 because of that body cast they put me in. Well, the cartilage from my waist down did. Uh, the elbows and stuff just got worse. Around that time, I quit using the elbows. The cartilage just hurt so much, and it's like rocks. If you don't have anything in your joints, they're just rocks rubbing together. That's what mine feels like. Yeah, it was 19 after, right? 1929. That was the 17 after. 17, 27, 37. That's what I said, 40, 27, 40, a couple after 40. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to redo it in my head at the time. But I don't have any concept of that. I got to Google a couple months after. The first audio book I discovered, of course, well, I didn't discover, but got was Audio Bible. And I just started my seventh time. So in about a year and 9 months or so, I'm starting my seventh time through the Audio Bible. And I had dark times there, like I mentioned in the last podcast about being blind, part one, 2 years blind, part one with Dan. Uh, I had some dark times there, and I asked for God to take me when I got home one night, uh, or I don't even know what I was doing. I just one night I did. I said, "Hey," I said, "What's the point of being but I was born disabled, so I didn't think of it right. See, but that night I said, what was the point of being born disabled? Being having to go through all this stuff and then lose my sight, you know, and then just laying there, not being able to know what time it is anymore, or even be able to get on the computer or internet, which I can still type a little bit, one finger on each hand. My hips bother me, so I gotta keep leaning back and forth. But yeah, excuse me, I can still do social media. I can still record cameras and upload stuff. But I just didn't have a purpose. Didn't know what I was doing. Just was here, like a lot of people. You know, I knew there was more out there, and I knew there was other things because I'd had paranormal incidents when I was younger. I have videos and stuff. Go check that out on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. So that kept me, and I was always open-minded. You know, I know, hey, there's something. Now I know there's God. You know, because of all the just so many things have happened, and plus, once you just have that connection like I do now, and it really was like being born again. I asked him that night. I said, "Take me, because I don't want to just be here. Well, what's the point of this if it's for nothing?" And then my sleep apnea, I don't wear a machine or nothing. I haven't been never been able to. I went and got tested at the hospital like 15 years ago or so, or 12 to 15 years ago, and they said I stopped breathing a lot. Yeah, I know. It's scary when you wake up and you're not breathing or you're like catching up to your breath. But they just said as long as you get enough sleep, you'll be okay. So hey, I just deal with it like everything else. I believe now you're here till God's done with what you got to do on this go around, and then you expire. So I'm still here for something. And he could have took me that night. I quit breathing like 20 times. Like every time I fell asleep, boom, I woke up, I couldn't breathe. And then it was almost like hearing, yeah, you know, you're here for something. We're gonna take you now, or you're gonna do something now, or you're gonna do something and be here and do something. And so from then on, I pledged to God, I'm gonna do whatever I can to help people the rest of my life, to be the light for people. And you know, no matter what, I'm gonna give my life to helping people. That's what I was here for. I was here to help people and to, you know, show, hey, everybody can't be the same, and we all go through stuff. You know what I mean? We all, like I say on the podcast here, everyone, you can't judge a book by its cover. Everyone has a story. You can't judge a book by its cover. And that came to me just like Be the Light, you know, Love's a Choice. Well, not Be the Light. Be the Light is off of a podcast, psychic podcast, which I found a bunch of those afterwards, just on Google, just all these things. Like, just if you listen and you're clear, they'll come to you. I just laid there. I didn't sleep for many nights. I don't even know how much I slept or what I did. But I did like a life review. I laid there and I went back through my whole life and I realized, hey, I wasn't punished. God don't punish babies, you know. So there are reasons, and I just went back.
7:30 p.m.
Oh, thank you.
Swipe up to
My other phone
unlock.
that talks.
46%.
Uh, yes, I mean, isn't that nice? But I can't use it because of my hands. It's a double tap, drag, switch. It's all this stuff they make for blind people on certain things. But if your hands
Count
don't,
back on.
okay, it shouldn't have been off. Yeah, this stuff is going on weird in here. There might be something going on energy wise. I've learned a lot about that stuff. I've listened to close to 200 other audio books, including the Bible. I'm just guesstimating. Uh, and I've just been expanding my mind since, you know, I lost the sight. What was I saying now about going back? Oh, yeah, life review. I realized things were not as bad as I thought. You know, they could have been a lot worse. I've been close to death over 30 times. I've known like 30 something people that have died. And I went through all that in a few nights or weeks, I don't know. Probably a night or two. Like I said, I didn't, for weeks there, I wasn't sleeping regularly. Even eating, like that affected my food too, or my appetite. It affected me eating because I was dropping stuff everywhere I couldn't see. I didn't know how much was left in the bowl. Your appetite goes sometimes on what's in front of you too, because you know what you normally eat, what you don't eat. And if you're feeling a certain way, you're sick, you might not eat as much. or you might not eat as much. It's just so many things, and then sleeping too. Now I'm at the point, sad to say, a couple of years later, that I'm starting to forget what things look like, but I can just know what they look like if that makes sense. I can't really visualize them in my mind or third eye anymore. I mean, I can describe them to you if I think hardly. You'll be like, okay, this person just. But now I'm more of an energy or feel type, and I just know and I just hear, and oh, my leg is it's bothering me. Ever since I got the new wheelchair a few months back, it's just not the same as the old one. Even if it's a quarter inch off, I can feel that pain and nerve pain, leg pain. It's bad. Sciatic, I think they said. I have scoliosis. I got so many things. I'm not complaining though, because I'm happy to be here every day. If I can help one person by saying something, so someone knows, hey, you're not alone. God or whoever you believe in, and there is some other stuff. It's sad to believe that you just die and there's nothing but darkness, because I'm in the darkness every day, and I found a light, and there is much more out there. So believe in something, believe in you. It's one of my soloisms I've had come to me. I've had so many of those. I started writing songs. I'm doing the podcast. I'd like to start getting the songs out soon. I audio record them. Take notes with the lyrics. And my sister, thank God, has been helping me get through this. The last couple of years. Uh, but really, no one has a clue. I'd like to talk to someone who's been blind since birth or has gone through similar stuff, just to see like what did they dream about? Because that's a question. If you never saw anything, I've seen for 43 years or so, or almost 43 years, so I can imagine things. But if you never saw them, what do you imagine? You know, my dreams are good though. Now I'm learning how to like kind of. I've got rid of nightmares and that because I faced all that stuff in the past by just bringing it up and talking about it and reliving it and realizing it wasn't so bad. It's kind of like going in and doing history and re-erasing stuff. Like your family stuff. And this is true. If you go in and start doing the work, it's like fixing yourself and being born again. That goes with it. And then Dan helping me. We went to a few different churches. I tried some, and then I've started. Hey, I'm learning different religion thing or studying different things at home. I've studied Buddha. I've studied shamanism. I've studied pagan. I've studied Wiccan. I've studied. Well, I'm not. I don't study Christian. I am Christian. And before that, people. Oh, well, what? My dad was Christian. My mom was Catholic. I never took a title or however you want to say it. But I am a Christian. We're here to serve us, not serve us. And that's just what I go by, but you can go by anything. But there is a collective, and we're all connected together. We're all energy. What we all do affects each other. And once you get into all that, it makes you feel better because you know things are happening right as they should. And you do have free will and free choice, but just don't worry you're going to mess up and do the best you can at that moment. And look for little things along the way. I used to call them breadcrumbs, but they're synchronicities that line you up and they let you know, okay, you're hearing something, and then boom, at that moment, somebody else says the same word, or these are little things that let you know you're right where you're supposed to be. Just think about that, you know. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 7:35 p.m.
So yeah, these are different things. The food, the sleeping, of course. No day and night anymore. So just think about that. You're just doing stuff, you know. Eh, you don't have a concept of time, you know. So yeah, I found I heard about podcasts because of my sister used to listen to them, and I knew about what Alexa was because of that. She has one, but I got Google. I wanted to get a different one and see what they had, and then I went from there and got the audio books and the device that plays by your voice, and got a flip phone from a phone company. The phone actually doesn't work properly, but if you scroll up and down, it'll say the names and it'll do a couple things. Sometimes it will text out with my voice, and it will read text that come in to me when I click on them with out loud. So I'm adapting, and like I said, I got the podcast to help people, and I've been on We're All Psychic podcast, which is one of the ones I listen to, and they help me out a lot because we are all a psychic. We all have abilities, and once one's cut off, everything else is pulled up, and it was scary losing one, and then everything else being pulled up. Like, oh my, like I don't even know. I'm hearing stuff that's just. Shh. I believe I've done remote viewing. I know I've done astral projection. I probably have traveled back into my older past lives in my sleep because of all the work I've done, and this is all real stuff. Because I mean, I'm seeing this. It's neat how this goes on, and I've awakened a lot, and almost I'm like in a different place, but I'm kind of here too. It's almost like in the Matrix. Like I'm not where we all are, where most people are. I'm somewhere else, and I kind of gotta. It takes me a lot to come back to where you're at, to focus, to lower my vibration. I guess it's called. And I didn't know before. I was so my vibration was like, blah, 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 and I gotta pull it down to be where everybody else is, so I can be in there. But I'm glad to be up above though, because yeah, now I'm at the knowing stage. At first, I went through just hearing really crazy, like hearing stuff, and then dreaming stuff, and then now I'm kind of knowing stuff and synchronicities and just mixed stuff with the enhanced abilities. A weird thing happened right, or maybe a couple months in, was it felt like I lost my fingerprints or something happened to my skin. Because the next morning, or one morning, I just noticed right away. You know how if you touch stuff, or you have like something on you can pick up paper, or because your skin has almost like a little bit of something to it. And mine was always extra. Like I could actually touch my cell phone and pick it up just a little almost off the table with just touching it. I don't know what the, now I can't. It's like whatever that was changed or shut off. So that was part of the effect of oh my eyes are itchy. I guess my eyes still itch and burn even though I lost my sight. But there were 7 things wrong with them that they say, you know, at the end there with one eye. But I'm just trying to think because I'm trying to remember. I've changed so much that before it was different. Like I mean, I can't just go. Yeah, go out. I used to go out a lot and go places. Obviously, oh, I don't have direction. I can. I have a good. I have direction as far as if I can hear something, but my equilibrium and all that balance, and I basically feel like I'm just floating in some spot somewhere. If I get turned around, I'm not gonna know where I'm facing. And but if I touch stuff like you see with blind people, then I can kind of. It's almost like send something in the air, like a energy, and then you can go for a couple seconds based off that and get to another point. So other than that, yeah, I don't know. I'm just in darkness. It's like I said, it was very scary at first, but then I had to find something I had to give, and I had been asking God to take the wheel. I said, Jesus, for many times I begged, I cried. Before that, I wasn't happy, and then I just was done, and then it was like He just warned me and just took me and said, "Hey, let's go." And so I'm on it. I'm on this trail, and I want to be on it with me. It's called the Sullivan Project Podcast because we're all projects. We're not done. And the pastor actually referred to me as a project. So I was going to do this as a book, and if anybody wants to help me do a book, you know, it'd be the Sullivan Project. But I figured the podcast I'm trying to help people now. I don't know how much longer I have, and none of us do. So, you know, if we don't have tomorrow, let anybody know. Go make regulations, I forget what it's called. Repent and go just, I've done this, you know, go find people that you thought you might have wronged or wronged you in the past and just say, hey, I love you and sorry, no matter what, who did what, it doesn't matter, none of that matters, you know. And you don't want to carry it with you to death, and you don't want to bring it back with you in another life and have to redo it or relearn certain things. So do the best you can now. That's all. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 7:41 p.m.
So we're about to go and end this. We'll be back same bad time, same bad channel. I'm trying to meet up with Chris haven't seen or been around Chris 30, 35 years. So since elementary school, 10 years old. Trying to get a bus and go out. Maybe we'll do a short video uh, so y'all can see him. I haven't seen him since we were kids, but he was somebody that I tried to reconnect with, and grace of God, remembered his. It came into my third eye a few months and months back here. I don't know, 5, 6 months ago. I don't, like I said, no meaning of time, but his old number, 30 some years ago, and his mom still had the landline. The next day, after I left her a voicemail, she gave it to him. He called me, or she gave it to him. He called me the next day, and we've been talking. And he's been on the podcast a few times. I mean, after 30 years, But I said, hey, you know what? Why not? Why can't we talk? I'll take the chance. If something makes you happy, if someone made you happy, go find them again. You know what I mean? Let them know.